Hey YouTube, welcome back to Nadia's Healing and Feeling? Feeling and Healing? Fuck. Hey YouTube, welcome back to Nadia's Healing and Feeling. And today's episode is one that means a lot to me. Honestly, I can't even believe that I'm talking about this for my second YouTube video, but I think that it is such an important concept that it needs to get talked about. Today's video is going to be about detachment and forgiveness. Also, please excuse my background, guys. If you see dogs walking around, I have two dogs. One of them is laying right next to me. One of them is under my bed. Don't ask questions. Couple things that I want to preface before we get into this video. Detachment. Detachment has been coined by TikTok right now. And I know that it is a really big topic across social media right now. So I'm just gonna give my opinions. My opinion might be different than yours or what social media tells you. So if it don't resonate, baby, this video not for you. If it does resonate, stick around. Forgiveness. Big thing I want to preface for forgiveness. When I speak about forgiveness in this video, I am speaking about forgiveness between you and someone who hurt you, or possibly multiple people who hurt you. I am not talking about any type of sociocultural or systemic atonement. I'm not talking about any of that. That is a bigger issue that if anybody wants me to make a video about that, let me know. But that is a bigger issue that I'm not going to hit on for this video. But if you ever want me to talk about more serious topics like that, just let me know. Before we even get into detachment and forgiveness, there is something that needs to come before either one of those things. And that is acceptance. Acceptance needs to come before detachment, and acceptance needs to come before forgiveness, because if you cannot accept that these things happen, then there's literally no way that you can detach or forgive. Let's really quickly talk about radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is commonly used in DPD therapy, and it was shaped by psychologist Marsha Linehan. Radical acceptance, to put it in layman's terms, radical acceptance is the act of fully acknowledging reality as it is, with no protest, no denial, no lingering hope, none of that. Just accepting reality for what it is. And that is something that is hard to do. Point blank, period. Psychologically, that is something that is so hard to do, especially if you are someone who wants to have control over absolutely everything, like myself. I am not going to go too desperately deep into radical acceptance because it actually is still something that I'm personally learning. We're going to keep, base level of radical acceptance and just overall acceptance to lead to detachment and forgiveness. Acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance is choosing to end the fight with what has already happened, or choosing to end the fight with what already ultimately is or will be. If you can learn radical acceptance, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're going to be wiping everything off your shoulders like it's nothing. Radical acceptance, I promise you, is with what I have learned so far and what I have implemented into my own life so far, it is genuinely like a weight lifted off your shoulders. Shoulders. Whatever that was. I think that what a lot of people get wrong with radical acceptance is that once you accept it, you're just going to feel happy. Wrong. Actually, I fear once you accept it, you might feel even worse. You might be like, oh, this is real. Oh, this is actually happening. Oh, wow. Okay, great. Like, you're going to feel worse. Okay. I didn't want to talk too much about radical acceptance in this video. So one last thing that I do want to say is you are allowed to wish that things were different. In radical acceptance, you are allowed to look at it and be like, damn, I wish that didn't happen. But you're not allowed to hold on to the grip of your wish. And you're definitely not allowed to hold on to hope that it will be different. All it is seeing it for what it is, having the emotions that you feel towards it, and continuing on with your life. When you start seeing things for what they are, you stop resisting. And you're able to actually flow with this lifetime. Acknowledge that things happen and all that you can do is accept them everything is a lesson, in my opinion, so you can learn from them and you can move forward and become a better person, have a better mindset, and live, laugh, and love, as I love to say. On to our next topic, detachment. I have a lot to say about detachment because just like fucking everything on social media, I think once we start coining terms, niggas just start throwing, maybe I shouldn't cuss, I'm sorry. Folks just start throwing stuff out, like throwing their opinions out that are, once a term is coined on social media and it gets a lot of traction, it gets misconstrued. And it's also taken as like one single thing, like this is what detachment is and this is how you do it and this is how you do it right. If you do it any other way, then you're wrong. No. First of all, everything is opinion based. Everything is personal experience based. I don't know if y'all ever watched Arthur growing up, but what Arthur said, every day when you're walking down the streets, everybody that you meet has a what? Wait, has an individual point of, no, hold on. I just gotta start laughing at myself because I be fucking up. Like, I can never speak in one, like, it's already been 11 minutes. Arthur said, every day when you're walking down the streets, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. So please remember, everybody got an original point of view here. Everybody has a different point of view here. So be careful. Just take what resonates with you on social media. But anyway, guys, detachment does not mean that you do not care. Detachment does not mean that you do not care. Okay? Detachment does not mean that it does not faze you. Detachment does not mean that it did not hurt you. Detachment sounds more like, I do care, but I'm not going to let it drag me down. It did faze me, but I'm not going to stop my life and stop what I'm doing and bed rot for 75 days and 75 fucking nights because it hurt my feelings. This thing did hurt me, but I'm not going to let it break me. That is what detachment is. Stop letting people tell you that detachment means you didn't care. No, you do care. Stop lying to yourself and stop letting social media make you lie to yourself. Just say, I do care. But I'm not going to stop my life because I give a fuck. And that's the biggest thing about detachment. You cannot detach if you're just going to lie to yourself. You cannot detach if you're just going to tell yourself that you don't care. Oh, I don't care, so I'm detached. Girl, please, you do care. And you should care. That thing hurt you. That person hurt you. The situation hurt you. You should care. The only other thing that you should do in relation to caring is continuing on with your life. The biggest lesson that I think that detachment should be teaching people is you're detaching from the outcome, whether it already happened or you think it's going to happen, whatever. You're detaching from the outcome and trusting yourself that you're going to be okay regardless. That you're okay regardless of the outcome that already happened, or that you're going to be okay regardless of whatever outcome does happen. That's what detachment is trusting yourself that you'll still be able to flow and move forward in this life. And in order to do that, what do you have to do in order to build trust within yourself, guys? You got to sit with yourself. You have to sit with yourself. A lot of people don't even realize that they don't trust themselves. I actually didn't realize that I didn't trust myself until the past like month. I'm talking like nervous system trust. I'm talking like spiritual trust. I'm talking about a deep sense of trust. And in order to do that, you have to sit with yourself, just like I told you in that last video. And sitting with yourself is not easy. And sitting with yourself is something that a lot of people will not do. It takes time to sit with yourself, feel out your emotions, figure out where those emotions came from, and figure out how you're going to dismantle and rewire those and recondition. So healing is a long process, guys. Healing is a long process. So I don't want to be messy or nothing, but for the people who don't heal, those are the people who are able to move on quickly from the things that hurt them. So yeah, detachment is a very important part. If you cannot detach, you cannot forgive. If you cannot detach, you cannot forgive. Because if you try to forgive, it is going to be anger based, it is going to be shame based, it is going to be not real. All right. And on to the topic of the day. On to the topic of the motherfucking day, forgiveness. Forgiveness is not essential to healing. Well, I'm trying to figure out how I should word this because I don't want to come off as like rude or like making people feel like they have to forgive. Forgiveness is not essential to moving forward in your life. But I personally believe that forgiveness is essential to 100% healing in your life. Now, for the record, do I believe that healing is ever going to be 100% by the time we die? No. But if we're talking situation to situation, I do believe that certain situations can be 100% healed from and thrown the fuck away. Forgiveness is not a reward to the person that hurt you. Forgiveness is a release of the illusion of power that you have over the situation. We all think that we can control everything that happens to us, and that is not true. So when something bad happens to us and we hold on to that, for what? You do not forgive to make peace with other people. You forgive to emotionally cut that tie. You forgive to stop emotionally orbiting the person who hurt you. Because as long as you have not forgiven the person who hurt you, you will always, you see what I'm saying? You'll always, whether consciously or subconsciously, you'll always be orbiting this person, and that person will always have a piece of you. Let me ask you a question. Do you want the person who hurt you to always have a piece of you? Just asking. I don't. That is why forgiveness is a very big thing for me, because I am heavy on cutting ties. I don't want nothing to do with the people that hurt me, and I don't want them to think they have anything to do with me. I also believe that some people don't deserve forgiveness, but that is why I try to make it very clear that forgiveness is not for that other person. Something that I tell my friends all the time. You can forgive someone and they can never know. Like you can forgive someone and not tell the person that you forgave them. I actually would strongly advise that you don't tell the person. If you were in a toxic relationship with them, or whatever, or if it was like a toxic friend and you don't want that person in your life, then don't tell them that you forgive them. Because it's not for them anyway. The forgiveness is not any of their business. It's for you. It's for you. I don't know when the fuck we all just decided that forgiveness is for the other person and that we have to tell people that we forgive them, and forgiving them means we were excusing their actions or excuse the fact that they hurt us. Who told who told us that that's what forgiveness is or has to be? Wrong. Forgiveness is for your own inner peace and for you to cut the tie and stop giving that person a piece of your energy, a piece of your electricity, a piece of your sunshine. Forgive for you. Forgive them for you. And you also have to forgive yourself. That's the self-forgiveness I can make a whole other video for, because that is a big topic as well. If you are still angry, if you are still sad, if you are still resentful, if you are still rehearsing the wound that this person gave you, what does that do for you? How does that help you move forward in this lifetime? And let me actually tell you, because controversial take here, or not controversial, but contradiction here, I guess, not really, but some people find liberation. And this is why I say that forgiveness is not essential. Some people find liberation in rehearsing the wound, because they get to, they can kind of prophesize off that. They can make a life from that. They can build strong boundaries around it, and they can become a stronger person because of it. So that's why that if the forgiveness is not essential, but these people who do profit or prophesize off of their wounds, they can also acknowledge to you that they are still angry. They are still sad. They are still hurt. They are still resentful. They are always going to carry a part of themselves that is negative. And I don't want to do that. And if you don't want to do that, then this video is for you. If you're okay with that and you feel like that gives you a fire in this earth, or it gives you a fire in this lifetime, I'll back up. Like I said, just take what resonates with you. But just know that if you're sitting with this hope that one day this person who hurt you will feel it in the way that you felt it, they're they're not. they're they're not gonna feel it in the way that you felt it. They're not going to. If they're a really bad person, they're actually probably won't even give a fuck. I think his name is Justin Scott on TikTok. Everybody should go watch Justin Scott's TikToks. He is one of the most intelligent and beautifully spoken men I've ever heard in my life. Justin Scott said, "You think you're holding the grudge, but the grudge is holding you, babe. The grudge is holding you. This grudge is shaping you. This resentment that you have is shaping you. And by the way, resentment by nature is negative. So you're being negatively shaped in the way that you walk this earth. Once again, I think that people deserve to be angry. I think that people deserve to have their emotions in the moment. But when you are carrying all of these negative emotions with you through life, they are shaping you and you're going to end up being kind of a negative person. I don't want to be a negative person. I don't care to be a negative person. Some people don't care. Some people don't care about what other people think of them, first of all, as long as they're happy within themselves. And I don't either. I would not be happy with myself if I was a negative person. If I felt negative all the time, or if I felt angry or resentful, or just like a weight on me all the time. No. Maybe that person who hurt you or those people that hurt you don't deserve forgiveness, but you do. You deserve to stop living in the reaction of this person's shadow. So this is where empathy comes and forgiveness. And this is why, again, I'm trying to say forgiveness is not essential because some people don't deserve empathy all the time. You have to see the person as more than the thing that they did. You have to see the person as more than the hurt that they've caused and realize that the hurt that they caused is just a direct reflection of their fucked up bullshit that they're dealing with from within. Once you can see that person as their own hurt and your reaction to their hurt was anger or resentment or whatever, and you just live in that for the rest of your life, you're living in the reaction to their shadow. Stop doing that. Hey guys, editing Nadia here. So I realized that I could have definitely expanded on that topic a lot more. I ended up getting distracted, but I'm going to expand real quick. So your shadow side is basically just the side of you that is the nastiest, the darkest side of you, or some people will call it the bad side of them. The side of you that operates straight up from every little bit of hurt that you've ever experienced, every little bit of anger that you've ever felt, every bad belief that you have about yourself or others or the world. That is your shadow side. When someone is operating from their shadow side, they're just operating from the worst part of themselves. Obviously, you're going to have a reaction to that. You're a human being. So you're going to feel hurt when someone treats you in a way based off of their fucking childhood that has nothing to do with you. So, yeah, you're going to feel a way, but are you going to sit in that or are you going to let it go? You know, that's kind of the preface of what the quote is. Okay, bye guys. Don't do that. That's literally all I can say. Forgiveness does not mean that it didn't happen. Forgiveness just means that you're going to stop carrying the weight. You're going to stop carrying the remains to prove that it did. You don't have to carry the remains of a hurtful situation to prove that it happened or to prove that it hurt you. It hurt you. It happened. It was real. The emotions and the hurt that you felt towards this person or towards this situation is and was real. But you don't have to carry that with you. to prove that fact. It is weighing you down. It is weighing you down. It is hurting you, and you are waking up with a tight chest, or every time that you hear their name, or every time that you think about them, or every time that you think about the situation, or something happens that reminds you of it, it's killing you. Don't you want to feel lighter and happier in this lifetime? And some people don't. Some people don't. I have learned. The person who actually, the inspiration for this video was someone actually asked me how I forgive. And by the end of that conversation, it came to nothing. It came to nothing because at the end of the day, that person was okay with carrying this weight with him. That this person was okay with walking the rest of his life with this anger. So when you forgive, you stop bleeding every time that their name comes up. Your chest stops getting tight every time that you think of them. Your brain stops disassociating every time that something reminds you of them. You are able to acknowledge without emotionally reacting. That is what forgiveness gives, in my opinion. In my opinion. With that being said, during the research for this video, I found that there's a pretty fine line between acceptance and forgiveness, which is why forgiveness is not essential. Acceptance is being able to say, damn, like this really happened and it really hurt me. And, stopping it there. And forgiveness is saying, yeah, it did hurt me, but it doesn't anymore. All in all, with all of that being said, forgiveness is for you, babe. Stop. The whole forgiveness being for other people is beyond me. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it came from. But know that forgiveness is so much harder than anything else you can do, which is why a lot of people will just not even take the step to do it. It's much harder to forgive someone than to say, fuck you, go die, right? You can say fuck you, while you're on the way to forgiveness. Don't let people tell you that forgiveness means that you're weak. Or forgiveness, like I said earlier, forgiveness means that you're like excusing what this person did and just letting them off the hook. Wrong. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things that anyone can do. Ask anyone who has actually truly forgiven before. I mean, truly. That is the hardest thing that they've ever had to do, and it took a lot of time, and it took a lot of discipline, and it took a lot of resistance in getting through that. What's easier than forgiveness is anger. What's easier than forgiveness is feeling resentful. What's easier than forgiveness is avoidance. And last but not least, what's easier than forgiveness is giving in to your own emotions and letting them define how you move through this life. If you've ever watched self-development or healing videos, you know that you should not be letting your emotions define you, because that shit will fuck you up. So no, forgiveness is not weakness. What forgiveness is spiritual disentanglement. It is spiritual disentanglement. It is untying the very tight knot that exists between you and another person, or you and a group of other people. Last thing that I want to say. Last thing I want to say that might be a little bit of a bold, controversial take, but I'm gonna say it anyway because this is really just how I feel, and I think that someone who hears this may be the understanding point for them, that they're like, okay, I actually do need to forgive. The reason that these small generational curses exist within families, or they're passed down the lines, is because of a lack of true acceptance, detachment, and forgiveness. I'm treading lightly here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm treading lightly. I just started this YouTube shit. Don't cancel me. No, I really don't care. But behavior cannot come from you unless it exists within you. So if you let an experience that you had with someone move you through this life and shape you through this life, you see what I'm saying? You know the huge the saying where they're like, the abused becomes the abuser. When you make the decision to not let these things shape you, or not let these things define the person that you're going to be in this life, it can't come out of you. You will not be a product of it. So if that, again, that might be a little bit of a controversial take, but if you disagree, let me know in the comments why you disagree. I love hearing the other side of things. I love hearing other people's opinions and perspectives on things, especially such a topic like forgiveness, because doing the research on the other side of forgiveness, because I always like to do the side that I agree with and then the side that I don't agree with. So doing the research on the side of forgiveness that I don't agree with was very, very helpful in the making of this video. So if you disagreed with anything in this video, leave a comment below, or I mean, if you know me personally, you can you can always reach out. My Instagram is gonna be in the description, so send me a DM if you want. Also, one last thing that I do have to say about forgiveness. I can't believe that I'm like just saying this right now. There's two ways that you can go about forgiveness, by the way, guys. Way number one, you can forgive and still allow that person to be in your life. If it's such a small situation, like, girl, like for relationships, like if you built up resentment over time for a relationship from little tiny things that, you know, just kind of built up. That's a stressful topic for me right there. If you decide to forgive, you can continue a relationship with that person in your life, but you know, okay, that's up to you. Or you can do what I personally like to do, which is forgive and never tell that person that I forgive them and continue on with my life to never see them again. It really is your choice. Actually, I have forgiven people who I would gladly allow back into my life if they ever wanted to be, or that I have already allowed back in my life. Because at the end of the day, like I said a little bit earlier, I think people are more than just their shadow, which is kind of equal to like the bad parts of them. They're more than that. Like, we're all human beings here, bro. We're all human beings. We're all kids. I mean, we're all people in their young 20s, or I'm sure some of y'all are still in your teens, and we're all just trying to make it work. Like, so if you can just kind of accept that people are human too, and people are going to make the same mistakes that you do, and everyone is just trying their best, then this is not going to be such a hard thing for you. A lot of us are programmed and conditioned in a way that causes us to act out, and that causes us to move in this lifetime in a way that we ultimately don't want to and or regret. And for people who can resonate with that sentence, you're deserving of forgiveness, babe. That is all for today's video, guys, on acceptance, detachment, and forgiveness. I hope that this really helps someone take the steps to release anger and release these heavy ass emotions that live within a lot of us. And I hope that it inspired you to want to move forward in a lighter way and flow with the life that we have ahead of us. I love you guys so much, as always. If you have any suggestions on next videos or next episodes that you'd like, also, if you guys saw, I just dropped a collab video with my brother, Davian Allen. So go subscribe to his channel as well. A little shout out to him. I love you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next episode of Nadia's Healing and Feeling. Bye, YouTube. Mwah. Annyeong.